some guys can score, you know what they're good at, but are there other attributes you're looking for?
Yeah, I would say biggest point of emphasis is probably just bring a high degree of competitiveness, abrasiveness, and make sure that everybody is playing to their potential and their capacity. And we want to play fast. We want to be aggressive, and have everybody really get off on the right foot as we start into the training camp season.
What about the guys who would be considered close to a roster spot? Abramov, Robertson. Are you expecting them a little more from them? Are you expecting them to dominate with the players they're going to be up against?
I expect them to play to their absolute potential, and if they do that, I'm confident that they'll have a good 4 games.
How close do you think a guy like Robertson is to being an everyday NHLer?
I think we've seen, if you look at last season in particular, I think Nicky played 28 games maybe in the American League and scored 16 goals. So that's at a 40-goal clip for a kid that just turned 22, I think, the other day. That's an unbelievable run, and he's extremely driven. He's a young man that loves hockey, and so I think he's very much knocking on the doorstep.
Have you seen Curtis Douglas grow into his body the last couple of years, develop as an offensive force?
Yeah, I think it's, for Curtis, I think it's been a really great story for us, to have him at a couple stops before, come in here last year, perform the way he did. I think the offensive production he had was probably more than we were expecting. But when you look at what he does, I mean, he's a big man that works extremely hard at his craft, and I think we have to be patient. I sort of view Curtis kind of like you'd view a goalie. And that it's typically I think goalie and then defenseman take the longest term to fully mature. But when you're 6'8", that's probably going to take the longest term to fully mature. So I think we have to be patient with him. We have to sort of temper expectations, but at the same time, he brings a lot of elements that are extremely important to the future of this organization. And I think if he continues to work the way that he does, that he'll be knocking on the door sooner rather than later.
Are you expecting any kind of difficulty in transition for guys like Rindell and Kokkonen coming over from Finland to the AHL or to the NHL?
I think there's always a transition. I think there's a transition for players certainly coming from junior even to professional, which we saw last year in a lot of our first-year professionals. And I think, whether it's a smaller rink or just coming to North America, so many, would probably take for granted a little bit just the transition for a young person to move away from home, move away from what is normal and what is comfortable for them. So as we always are, we'll be patient with the young players, but they're very talented. So I certainly expect that they'll pick certain things up in short order, and some things will take some time, and we'll just support them and work with them and push them along as far as we can.
How do you feel Pontus Holmberg has adapted since coming over?
Pontus is a great kid. I thought we sort of threw him into the fire at the end of the season with the Marlies there, dropped him right in with Sini and Anderson in our top unit, and he played important minutes. And he's another guy that has put together a nice resume for himself in Swedish professional hockey or in international hockey, and did a nice job for us at the end of the season. So I'm looking forward to him maybe having an uptick in offensive production relative to what we saw at the end. He'll be relied upon plenty, whichever team he is on, and certainly in this event.
Villeneuve showed a lot of growth in junior after having a -50. He was +60 last year, wins the Memorial Cup. What are your exact expectations on him?
William is an extremely smart player, a lot of poise with the puck. He's done a really nice job this summer. If you look at him, the work he's put on his body, phenomenal. So I think that when players transitioning from junior into professional take that time and attack their summer that diligently, it certainly probably shortens the learning curve. That being said, probably another guy that because of what he can do with the puck and at his size and his frame, as a right shot, that everyone will get extremely excited about it, especially in an event like this where you can see some real positive flashes from him. So, but again, it's patience. It's going to be defensive habits, defensive details, learning the schedule, learning how to assimilate to pro hockey, learning how to play inside of contact when men are leaning on you and when men are bearing down on you. So that's what I expect from him. And there'll be ups and downs in the first professional season, but he's certainly a guy that myself and all of our staff really are bullish on.
Are you giving the goalies one game each and then going from there? Or is it...
I haven't made a full determination on how we'll attack that. We have a plan for the first 2 games, and then to speak candidly, we're going to see where we're at in the event. I think for us within our organization, we're going here with a very specific purpose, and that's to win. And we want to set the tone here with this event in Traverse City and leading into Leafs training camp. That is our expectation. That's how we're going to approach every day. And so we'll go into a game tomorrow night, putting our best foot forward, expecting to win, and then we'll go from there.
So what was the thought process around choosing the coaching staff this year, aside from just going with the AHL staff in previous years?
I think it's a multi-layered decision, really. It was actually Sheldon's idea. It originated with him, and we just talked about, for the Marlies coaches in particular that have gone to this event so many times, there's kind of a redundancy in that. And then we looked at all these people, whether it's player development, that Danielle represents, Manny, who has his experience, with the Leafs as an assistant coach and throughout the staff. And we just looked at it and said, okay, let's give Manny an opportunity to get some exposure and some experience in an area to help facilitate his development. And then when we looked at the rest of the staff, we said, okay, where else can we make those same kind of decisions? And so we've blended together a nice staff from Marlies, from player development, from the Leafs, and just let everybody get some experience and exposure in different areas to help. I think at the same time we're always trying to develop players and also trying to develop staff. So that was the thought process behind it, and that's really why we went that direction.
Just want to clarify Abramov's status. Is he injured or is?
Yeah, Mikhail Abramov would have been on this roster at the end of last season. He tweaked something that I think we probably, and he missed the last few weeks of the Marley season. And I think it's something that we thought was going to go away, and sort of with just some rest and what have you early in the summer, and it just kind of lingered and lingered and lingered. So he's another player that, I think if you look at the production last year, I think, from an outside perspective, they probably said, oh, maybe, we should add more production. But from my perspective, transitioning from junior into first year professional, and for how relied upon him and SDA and Douglas were for us down the middle after the other guys didn't clear waivers, and our team looked very different. I thought he did a lot of things that I certainly wanted him to do. So the biggest thing for me is for us, he's a player that is extremely conscientious in his details, has a great work ethic, and I would like to get him starting this season on the absolute right foot, which is getting his body where it needs to be first, and adding some strength, which probably in the summer, because he was rehabbing an injury, he didn't get. So we're going to take a very conservative approach with him and make sure that when we do assimilate him back into the group, that we'll be setting him up for the most long-term success rather than us get excited to see him in this event.
What have been your impressions of Manny when you spent time around him since he got here?
Yeah, no, Manny has done an excellent job. I think he's very professional, he's very detailed, he's very organized. And I think, one thing to Manny's credit, he's very excited about this opportunity. And it's something we stressed yesterday within our group. I think particularly for players who have been in this event before, sometimes it's, I got to go to Traverse City and go through the rookie tournament process again. And I give a lot of credit to players like Nick Robertson and players like Alex Steves that have done this before, that have played NHL games and are excited to go here and help grow their leadership perspective. And so for the coaches and management people, it's really no different. And so Manny has approached this with a great degree of excitement, a great degree of passion for him to get his first taste of head coaching experience. And I know he's excited. I thought it was good energy in the practice today. And he's organized, and I think we're ready to go.